Hey there, YouTube. Cheers. Drinking a nice, full of ice glass of um, zero sugar ginger ale. Hope that everyone is doing well. Part two of my recent vinyl finds. It's Monday, February the 12th, about 10:45 at night. Thanks. I'm going to try to keep this video brief. And so I've made some record store trips in the last 2, 3 weeks, and so I've just gathered a few of my favorite finds from those. I also, and I won't include any of those in this one, but I also was able to buy at one of the uh, used record stores that I go to. I was able to, he had a small 40, 45 album jazz collection that he had in the back room for a while. The records, some of them were in okay, decent shape, and some were just trash. But he gave them to me at such a great deal. I thought I'd take them and clean them up and use what I could, and just toss what I couldn't. Excuse me, my leg was itching, and so maybe I'll make a part three to show the my favorite in there that I was able to salvage. But I'll just start with this one here. And so the first three records that I'll show, I was at Walmart. Uh, one day last week. I don't remember what day, and I just stopped by the record section. Yeah, it was Tuesday of last week. It was almost a week ago, yes. And so I picked up three records from there. The first is Journey Escape on clear vinyl. I do have this uh, regular pressing of this album, but this was $20. This is one of my favorite Journey albums, and so I decided to just go for it. In the colored vinyl, it sounds great. I've already played it a couple of times in the week that I have had it, and so for $20, $21, something like that, it was very much worth it. Even though I already had a regular commercial copy of that. The next one, ooh, this Beastie Boys album, their License to Ill debut album. This is an absolute great album on clear vinyl as well. When I came home with this album last Tuesday, I played side one and side two immediately. I haven't had this on vinyl, and I had it on vinyl when it came out. I don't know what happened to it, but I got it on CD a long time ago, and so I've just been listening to it on CD. But when I saw this clear version, it was, I want to say $32, but it was $32, in my opinion, well spent. I was so glad to get this, and the pressing sounds good to me. Last Walmart buy, the best of the Grateful Dead on this bone color vinyl. Uh, there's some stuff on here that I like. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of Grateful Dead records, but a lot of the ones that I like I found on here. And so again, this was $21. I said, well, why not? I'll go for it. Grateful Dead, the best of. Then these next two are upgraded copies of mine. This great Bootsy debut solo album. The name is Bootsy Baby. And I only paid $10 for this. The cover and the record are in great shape, better than the one that I have. And so I was eager to get that. Here's another Bootsy Player of the Year that came out, I want to say 78 after this one. And it even has the glasses still intact that came with it. This one, I don't know if you can see it, but the cover's damaged right there. But other than that, this is an upgraded. The vinyl is really pristine. And again, this was only $10. I could not help it to upgrade these copies. The next one, Freddie Robinson, great jazz artist. This album came out, and this was an album. It was originally called The Coming Atlantis, but then it was renamed The Black Fox on Pacific Jazz. This album came out, I want to say 68 or 69, funk, and just, it's a great album. Um, I highly recommend if you can get a copy. It was only $10 too, so I was really glad to get this. I do like guitar, funk, jazz. Glad to get that. Here is Neil Young live at the Cellar Door. This, oh, is a great record. I've listened to two records that I've only listened to one of them, but it was a killer record. I got this for $20. It's a reissue, but it sounds really good. I was glad to get it. I am a Neil Young fan. I do like live albums, and so anytime I can get a good live album, I am all for it. So there is that. Charles Wright and the 103rd Street Rhythm Band. Express Yourself. Um, this is the wrong one, and as you can see, it's the covers damaged, and this was $15. So this is an original pressing, which is good, but after the song Loveland came out, this album was redone, and they changed some of the tracks and included the song Loveland. And so this is an original pressing. It doesn't have Loveland on it. I do have Loveland on the promo 45, but I do want to try and get the a later repress of this album to include all of those songs and the updated track listing as well. But this was good to get. I didn't have the album, and so it was good to get, even though it was $15, not in the best shape. But this album is kind of hard to get, so I was glad to get it. This one is a reminder of my childhood. Motown's 25th hits from the first 25 years. This came out in '83 to coincide with with the Motown 25th anniversary special that came on, of course, with where Michael Jackson performed and did the moonwalk. When this came out in '83 for Christmas that year, my mom gave me this album for Christmas. Every year, she would usually give me some kind of record, an album that I would ask for, and she would get one or two albums to go with my Christmas gifts. And so I really like this one because it had the copies of all of those 45s. Some of those 45s my mother had in her collection, not many, but and so to find this now with my mom in hospice, it just was a stroll down memory lane to remember that she gave me this album all those years ago. It's been, wow, 40 years, over 40 years. But and who knows what happened to the copy I had before? I don't know. But I was a 12-year-old listening to Motown. I remember when she gave it to me for Christmas. I immediately went to the stereo because at that time Walkman were super popular, and I was always on the go with my older sisters. And so it gave me, I had some tunes to listen to. So I immediately put this on a cassette. And so when I wasn't at home, I was listening to these great Motown classics at 12 years old. And so this is was great to get. $3. The cover's not in the best of condition, but it'll do. And this is a upgraded copy for me. Freddie Jackson, Rock Me Tonight, that great album. This, You Are My Lady, some of the other great mid '80s tunes. And so this is an upgrade for my copy because I know I have it somewhere and I couldn't find it the last time I looked for it. But I know this is a better, I'm pretty sure this was a better condition. It's still in the shrink, so I was glad to get this $3 as well. George Duke, the great late George Duke, Faces in Reflection on the MPS label. This came out in the mid '70s. This is a really great album. I got it for only $10. And this is a really great album. If you're into jazz fusion, I highly recommend it. Another one, The Police, Regata de Blanc for $10. This is a great album. Trying to keep this brief. Um, Great record for $10. Message in a Bottle, one of my favorite songs as well. That's on here. I didn't have this album. I have Message in a Bottle on a 45. And I have uh, Police Greatest Hits that had this on there. So to get this on an album, I was really glad to get for $10. The Who, Meaty Beady Big and Bouncy. This is an '80s reissue that I got for $10 on the MCA label. It was originally on the Decca label. Glad to get this one as well. A lot of great songs. Of course, the great Pinball Wizard song is on this album too, and so I was glad to get this one. I did not have this. I have it on CD, but I didn't have it on vinyl. Aerosmith Toys in the Attic, $10. I have this, but I had one with no cover, and so I've got one in great condition with the cover. Now for only $10, the original version of Walk This Way is on here. That I had no idea existed until early 2000s. I want to say when I got a best of Aerosmith CD, uh, and I discovered I really liked this band and started collecting their music. Glad to get that. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. And so this was only $10. This is an original pressing on the Orange um, Epic label. The version that I have now is a '80s reissue on that purple Epic label. Excuse me. And so I had an opportunity to get an early pressing of one of my favorite albums, Bat Out of Hell, 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, Paradise by the Dashboard. This whole album is a listening experience. I also have it on a CD. I have an expanded CD of this as well, regular CD of this as well. One of my favorite albums. This is one of those records that I believe to get the full experience, you just got to listen to it side A, then side B, and you will have a listening experience. A little bit of jazz. I bought a lot of jazz recently, but I only included this one, Sonny Rollins Jazz Classics. It's kind of a best of for $10, and it includes the great pianist Thelonious Monk, Kenny Dorham, and Art Blakey, one of my favorite drummers. And so also Percy Heath is uh, included in some of the songs on here on bass. And so I did get this for $10 on the Prestige label. I am a huge jazz fan. Every time I post jazz records on here, or anybody watches, and so hopefully one day I'll get some jazz fans and I'll be able to post more of my jazz records for you to listen to on here. But this is a really great album. I've played this, oh, probably 2 or 3 times in the 2 or 3 weeks I've had this um, album. And so one of the reasons why I haven't been making music videos is because I've just been sitting back and listening to records here lately, the whole album. And this is one of them that I've thoroughly enjoyed more than once. Uh, Gene Martin, gospel artist, sings you happy. And so this is one of his uh, mid '70s albums. I do have a few of his albums. This is and it just like it says, sings you happy. It has a happy sound to it, and I really enjoy it. It's got a $10 price tag on it, but I think he only charged me 5 for this. I'm not sure, but this is a really, really good album. Almost done. C.L. Franklin, he went a little further. This is an '80s reissue of one of his sermons. You know, a lot of C.L. Franklin's sermons are available on record. There's probably 100 of them, and I have mixed emotions about him and seeing some biopics about the way him and he left Aretha Franklin kind of out there to travel. She ended up pregnant a couple of times as a teenager. But I think one of the things is that we just have to remember that everybody's flawed. One of the things I will say is I'm not huge on the 50s and 60s preaching style as a minister and myself today. I'm not I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the style and a lot of the attitude that ministers had at that time. But I have heard some really touching messages from C.L. Franklin. I don't have very many, but when I saw this one and it was $10, uh, I thought I'd grab it. I have not had an opportunity to listen to it yet. It was new and sealed, but I do plan to listen probably, if not tonight, tomorrow. But I was glad to get it. And then here, I didn't include everything, but I did upgrade some of my Parliament. This one, Chocolate City, for $15. Great condition. I didn't grab it. I thought I did, but I also upgraded my copy of um, the Clones of Dr. Funkenstein, also for $15. But this album here, this is just stone cold funky. This is, I want to say, their second album, Chocolate City. Ooh, I played that one already a couple of times. A little bit more jazz. Indestructible, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. A great Blue Note album. This was $30. This isn't an original pressing. An original pressing of this is hundreds of dollars. This is a late '60s reissue. This album came out, I want to say, in 1959 or 60. Uh, but this album, if you're not a jazz fan, this will help you to become a jazz fan, especially with this all-star lineup. Lee Morgan on the trumpet, Curtis Fuller on the guitar, Wayne, I can't talk, Wayne Shorter, and Cedar Walden and Reginald Workman. This album, what's the song on here? Let me, the song on here, The Egyptian and Calling Miss Khadijah. These songs, oh my goodness, I love that Blue Note label. These songs, oh my goodness, this album is so nice. It was worth every penny. Art Blakey, Indestructible. Lastly, this is a 12-inch. Don't Go the remixes by Yaz. It was only $5. And it's the remix on here. The both of the extended version of the remixes, the remix and the remix, I think sound good for $5. I was very willing to pay for it, and so it was a great find. And so that's all I have for now. I wanted to keep this brief. I've got some other great albums recently. I got a great Stooges live album from 2017 that I thought I had in this pile, but I didn't. Maybe I'll show that some other time. So what I will say is, thank you so much for watching. I hope that everyone is doing well. To my Christian brothers and sisters, please continue to be prayerful in this season. To my brothers and sisters who are not Christians, who don't believe or have other faiths, I just hope that you will hold on to your own faith and continue in these trying times. I know it's difficult. We're coming up on a election season. I don't like to get too political, even though I have a lot of political thoughts, but uh, not a fan of. We know Trump is going to be the Republican nominee. Not a fan of Trump or Biden. I feel as though You got to choose between a kick in the left gonad or the right gonad. Is about our options this political season. Couple old hacks, but there's always a bright side, and when I find it, I'll be sure to share it with you all. But so, thank you so much for watching. I pray that you all have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you.